Hello, Colossus fans. Hello, Colossal Effort podcast fans. I just want to get ahead of this. If you can tolerate this podcast, I appreciate it so much. Obviously, something happened in the recording. We must have knocked the equipment and changed the settings or something, because not very long into this podcast, it starts to sound like me and Jordan are underwater and auto-tuned. So I apologize for that. I'm sure on the next one it won't happen. I mean, it's never happened before, right? But thank you so much for supporting. Please enjoy this podcast as much as you can. I know it is quite irritating to listen to weird voices, but if you are going to take the time to listen to this podcast, thank you so much. And if you don't, and you're just going to skip it until next time, or you want to go listen to the old podcast, that's absolutely fine. But thank you so much for supporting Lossie, and we'll see you soon. Bye. Thank you.
This is the Pro Wrestling Colossus Colossal Effort Podcast.
Mic check. Levels of good.
You too? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Don't talk over each other. Makes it easier in the edit to get the captions in. That's what it's all about. Do you want me to shut this again? Because you.
I will just look at myself. Yeah. Narcissist.
And if you're hearing that, then that's the sound of a fresh new podcast brought to you by Pro Wrestling Colossus. With the founders, creators, curators, bookers, chair putter outers, ring builders, match winners, known as TK Cooper and Jordan Breaks.
Jordan Breaks with the frothy beer. It's really frothing. Be careful.
It's Jordan with an O as well, for those wondering.
For those that know.
And for anyone who tries to use the anonymity of a training school to call us out on our spelling, just know that we know who runs that account. So one of you, if not all of you, are unbooked.
Just all of them. Yeah. Death by association.
Yeah,
surely.
There you go. So we're back. We're actually, I feel like the further we get into doing this, or more committed we get to doing this, that it becomes more and more irrelevant that I put over that we keep coming back to do another one. Only because we were so inconsistent initially, but now we've actually figured out the sort of the flow of when this can fit in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. If we just did our jobs, then we wouldn't need to put over that we are doing it. Then just do it.
So by the time we come around to recording the April one, I won't acknowledge that we've managed to do another one, because this is the thing we do now.
This is
the thing we do, and this is how we air our grievances and pat ourselves on the back and pat the trainees on the back. But so we had a show relative to when we're filming this last weekend, a new TIDES in a new venue, which I don't remember if we'd mentioned that at the end of the last, had that been put in place by the end of the last podcast? It had, right?
I can't remember, because just a bit of context, we had booked St. John's. We did mention it because we said that they double booked us.
Yes, right.
I remember saying that.
Right. So what had happened was I had gone to St. John's, given them our list of dates, and been like, are these all available? And initially, Simon, who runs the hall, was like, no problem, you can have all of those. And then a week later, he was like, psych, you can't have the first one, and you can't have the second one because there's already stuff in there, which is fine. But then didn't give us any, so it's actually not fine. It's fine in hindsight, now that it's sorted, but it wasn't fine in the moment, because he was like, yep, that's no, you can't have that.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
It's a shame, just because in that week of saying yes and then saying no, we'd printed flyers, we'd created the calendars. There was just enough that had happened for it to be annoying and kind of not final, but in place, right?
Yeah, totally.
But luckily, they helped us out. They sorted us out.
There's some sort of church hall WhatsApp group where Simon was like, I've got Ray, who runs the All Saints Church Hall, give him a bell, let him know, and then thankfully we were able to put that in place. And then we ran new TIDES this weekend at the new venue, All Saints Church Hall in Westbrook here in Margate, and it was awesome.
It was just such an amazing show, wasn't it?
In the end,
I think you said it that doors are at 4 p.m. At 3:59, we had literally just put the last chair out, dotted the last I and crossed the last T. It was an insane couple of hours setting up, and it was only a couple of hours. They were very strict on their times, weren't they? As opposed to St. John's, where we can kind of get in when we want and kind of leave when we want. We're very stuck to, this is the time you're in, this is the time you're out.
And thankfully, everybody was pretty regimented as well, right? Everybody part of the crew, everybody knew, because we told them from the beginning, this place is way more militant. He's letting us in at 2, he's kicking us out at 7:30, so all hands on deck, all jobs need to be done.
Yeah, we set the expectation very well. Go us. I couldn't have been happier with how the day went.
I could have.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, yeah. We'll get to that though. In the end, the final product was wicked.
Oh yeah, of course.
Wouldn't change it. But let's just say Ray And we'll get to that.
Yeah, I mean, when Emily puts the vlog together, you will just see the meltdown, the progressive meltdown that I have as she keeps coming up and being like, "So what's happening now?" Oh my god! So they've said. Anyway, yeah, look, we'll get to that. But we have to, as always, we've got our formula. So first things first, we run Christmas show. We announce we're coming back February 28th. Show's called New Tides. We kind of just let it sit because after the 20th of December, we're just kind of in that dead zone for a while. And then we're into January where we're still, even at the start of January, still technically like 2 months away from really, well, not really, 2 months away from the show. So it doesn't really become a relevant like promotional point until Feb, early Feb, mid Feb maybe.
Which is, I think, when we start kicking things up, right?
Yeah.
Fine. And I guess we started with a big fat poster.
The classic.
The classic. Lesnick.
If that's how you pronounce that name, then yeah, I'm not.
Is that how you would have?
Yeah, that's how I've read it, but I actually don't know because like I don't want to shoot name him on the body. I don't want to dox him for his real name, but his real name is not that at all. So that is like his like designer pseudonym that he goes by, and it's not at all like it's not portions of his name or anything.
Oh, okay.
It's completely, as far as I can tell, random.
Okay, Lesnick.
Like it must have some relevance to him and some like, he's obviously got some meaning attached to it, but it just is not. It's not his name at all.
Okay, understood.
But like even though I know his name because that's what like his email address is his name.
Okay.
But like on the door, I just put him down as Lesnick plus group, which was like, you know, so. But for anyone interested who may be an artist, mind you, or if you know a local artist out here in Thanet. It's not like a new initiative, but it was definitely like an option because that's what Lesnick asked. He was like, "Can I get my design wage and some tickets?" And we're like, yeah, of course you can have, sure, but why not? So if you are an artist and you're listening to this, or if you know an artist and you think they might enjoy some wrestling or making some money for some wrestling, then please put them in touch with us because you know we've always got shows, so we're always gonna need new posters.
This is it, yeah.
So cool.
So am I right in thinking that Lesnick is a maybe it's Lesnick, maybe the S is silent. Nick, he's a tattoo artist, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. How did we come in touch with him?
So when I was looking for artists because I think for the first sort of year's loop of posters, we either already knew people or there were people that we wanted to use. For instance, like Emily's friend Caleb, Dr. Gore, who doesn't live in Japan, but like that's where she met him, and he obviously does a lot of Chris Brooks merch, so knew he was sort of like a graphic artist. So it was kind of like an obvious, it seemed like a good selection to have him do the first Halloween poster, and then he's obviously done the subsequent Halloween poster. Maddie, who did the original Coastal Clash poster, was someone Adam knew, and then we had Alec do the Christmas one, which like everybody for the longest time has always used Alec Hugel to do wrestling merch, right? Like that name, Alec Hugel, is pretty like prevalent in British wrestling, or I suppose like most, not even like British, just like overall wrestling. Like a lot of people use him to do their merch design, so he was like an easy sort of go-to guy to be like, can you whip up a poster for our show? Richie Disaster, big name out here in Thanet, he did the March poster. I've ended up just going through all of them, but I felt like once I started talking about a couple, I couldn't leave out.
We can't leave out the rest.
Yeah.
You got Marissa.
Girls and Guts. Did the May show. Then we went back to sort of our roots of Riptide. So wanted to get Brett to do, like, I had wanted to do Brett do a poster for a long time, and just the sort of timeline just didn't line up. And then thankfully, in sort of like universe serendipity, that the sort of big anchor show for Riptide was the Riptide Rumble. So it was cool that Brett did our Rumble show, so that was quite poetic. And then that brought us back to Coastal Clash for the second loop. So we kind of run, like, the artist tap had like run dry by that point. So I was just on Instagram typing in like you know, like Thanet, like just keywords, you know, Thanet, artist, designer, blah, and sort of came across the guy who did Coastal Clash. Cosmic Roy, who did Coastal Clash 2, and then he's got a little like squad of like his little like designer mates. So there's like him, there's and then there's a couple of others, and so it was Cosmic Roy and Lesnick, designer mates from I think Whitstable. So
because I've also seen Nick graffiti outside Arlington House, really
massive.
Like
right by the station. Because Cosmic Roy's done a thing on that mural as well. So I think their whole like group is part of that fresh mural that they put up there.
So our next poster is just whoever the next graffiti.
We'll just move along. We'll find the tag in the corner and just try and source that person. Yeah, absolutely. So that's where he's come from, and got good feedback from him as well from the show. He was like, "That was awesome." Like we'll definitely.
Wrestling fan, been to wrestling shows?
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I didn't sort of like send him any.
Yeah.
I didn't send him a survey.
I mean, that's kind of what you want though. Is like, I challenge anyone to come to specifically a Lossy show and not enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
Like there's something for everyone. There's something to enjoy. So yeah, fair play. I'm glad you liked it. So promotion started roughly beginning of Feb, maybe mid Feb. Tickets weren't flying straight away, but they never do.
Yeah, because it had like crept up to 60, 70 and it had plateaued, and I feel like I was messaging you stressing out.
Yeah.
And then I think my stress stressed you out, but like
it doesn't help that there's quite a lot of there's a lot of wrestling in the area at the moment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it competition. I definitely wouldn't call it competition.
No, you'd be stupid to call it competition.
There's just a lot of wrestling. You've got Rumble wrestling over where do they?
Birchington,
but they're advertising their oval.
Has that already started?
Currently, yeah, I see them everywhere. We drove past them today. We've got TPW running. I guess it was a couple of weeks before us, or just less than a couple of weeks before us. They were at the Old Kent Market. Awesome venue. Just very close to us. And then you've also obviously got Josh's promotion, Resilience, running the day after us, which I guess you can't really. There was concern that there's a lot of wrestling,
and obviously, like we're not in charge of. We can't have the monopoly of wrestling just because we said so. Josh, I think, had announced his show in September.
I think he announced his shows like years and years ago. Yeah. Like we couldn't, shouldn't, and wouldn't tell people when and where to run, but we have got this. I think I was concerned that maybe there's too much wrestling because people don't know the difference. People absolutely don't know. My mum doesn't know the difference between what is TPW, what is Colossus, and if she doesn't know, I would expect almost everybody doesn't know the difference between what all these wrestling promotions. People just want to go see wrestling. Yeah. So I guess my concern was that they'd book something else and not come to ours, or a concern also is maybe the level of quality of some of these shows, that I'm concerned that people would book, go, and never want to go again. Yeah,
that it would, because they would see one thing that would scare them off, because it all gets tarred with the same brush.
If it's a new person to wrestling and they go to a wrestling show, they've gone to the wrong one. It's unfortunate, but it wasn't fun. It wasn't good. They're never going to go again.
But I would say, to our benefit now, after the aftermath of what's happened over the last couple of weeks, is that it is a testament to, it's not who you use, it's how you use them, how you present them, which I think is pretty common sense for people who do understand that. But equally, you can't just book the people with the highest Instagram following and assume that will materialize into ticket sales. There probably are some situations where that is true, but I think that would only be in the absolute extreme. Like if you book the classic example, if you book Scotty Too Hottie, you're probably going to sell like a couple hundred tickets, as opposed to trying to think who's like a famous local. Sure, not high enough floor count. If you book, I can't even think. Like Michael Oku, I guess. He's in the 10K range, I think. He is very popular, he's very good, but whether or not that his face would sell as many tickets as you would need to recoup how much money he is worth, into whatever he's asking for as a wage, whether you'd make that back and whether that justifies booking him, or whether you're just this dream factory that's booking all the matches you want to see, so you're doing like a selfish show because that's what you want to do, as opposed to what's good.
It doesn't create a good show. And unfortunately, go back to the point of, but basically I don't want other wrestling promotions to be doing bad shows, because it is just bad for everyone. Again, people will, if they go to that show that is specifically booked for one person, then it's probable that the dad of this family, or even the family, don't enjoy it and won't go to wrestling again. Bad wrestling is bad for business, and yeah.
But these people don't know that they're putting on bad wrestling, though, do they? They just don't have. They don't have that in their brain, that what they have created and what they're seeing in front of them isn't good. I feel like there's always going to be. I think even if we ran, I know I would feel shame. I would feel ashamed if we did. I'm wrong.
Not to put anyone down too much, but some people just aren't aware their thing is bad because they have such little understanding of it. And I think maybe that's what it boils down to. Because ultimately, I do feel some sort of responsibility to the trainees because these trainees are being used all over, but they're being put in positions where they're not going to be their best. Like, we have empowered our trainees to be wicked wrestlers. We've put them against great wrestlers. We've put them in positions that push them, but definitely use them to their strengths. As a trainer, we kind of know what is best for the trainees, right? Would you agree?
Yes.
And so it's just frustrating when they're put into positions where they're set up to fail, and then not.
But if that, like, there's a bit of that where, like, that's not necessarily the responsibility of promoter X, as opposed to, like, yes, we are their trainers, and it's important to us to cultivate an environment for them where they can learn and feel safe and feel confident and feel empowered to be the wrestler that they want to be. But equally, like, we can't promote every show. Like, we can't, like, it's like the parent situation of you can't be there for every problem.
That's fair. It's just frustrating to see, like, people's confidence knocked because they had a shit match.
Yeah.
Or because they've fucked something up, or because the show didn't go well, or because it wasn't a good show. And it's frustrating for them to come back to us and just our hard work essentially be thrown out the window, kind of thing, because now they don't have the confidence, and now they don't think they're a good wrestler, despite 2 years now of us trying to create good wrestlers.
But I guess that we just can't take that personally.
I don't. I feel bad for the trainees.
Right. No, and
Put in that situation.
Yeah.
That they shouldn't be in.
Right. So yeah, no, I understand. So I guess there's like a little bit there of, like, maybe it is. Well, it's the responsibility of the promoter to understand the skill level of the person that they're booking, right? To then put them in a position where they're asking so much more of them, where they're just not, they're not capable to perform at that level yet. And what we are doing, or what I feel like we're doing in Colossus, is sort of like guiding them or pushing them into that space where they're pretty confident saying they're not. A lot of them are not there yet, but like, it is sort of like, I don't really know how else to put it, but it obviously is, it's like a grooming process.
Yeah.
We're trying to get that out of them by putting them in the space that we control, because we know that the people we've asked to work with them, be it like David, be it Mills, Bo Bells, Amira, whoever, they can at least do what we've asked of them, so then that can trickle down to them being in control of the trainees that they're working with. But yeah, when it is a promotion that we are hands off of, because of course, like, we don't run any other promotions, but like, another promotion wouldn't approach it like that, because they have no business to, because it's just zeros and ones to them, of just, they have put wrestler versus wrestler, tag team versus tag team. Fair. Create wrestling because I told you to.
We also have a privileged position where we have ultimate control, in that we have the insight of what that trainee is like and what that trainee can do, as well as power of promoter to be like, this is the match they should have. So we do have a great position. We are in a great position to set them up to not fail.
Yes.
Fine. Ultimately, we sold all our tickets and we filled that room up. So it didn't matter in the end.
So yeah, I was going to say I feel no guilt, but why would I? But yeah, comparatively to other shows in the area, right? Like, again, I think our show has demonstrated that the show is so much more popular than any one of the wrestlers at the moment. In saying that, there are definitely murmurs now of certain pockets of our fan base commenting on stuff and being like, we loved Buck. Like, so like, just that is occurring now, that people are like, we've existed long enough that people are starting to have favorites, and they're starting to recognize tunes, and they know names when they're said, as opposed to, like, they don't need to match the face to the name anymore. They recognize the name and they're like, we don't like that. So
it's just I completely see what you're saying. It is just a little bit more than, but we've made an effort to make it more than just wrestler or wrestling promotion. We've been out in the community and tried to get people involved, and just where we've picked up people from all different places.
We don't just put a ring in a room and have 5 exhibition matches. It's all built to a point where ideally everybody on the show is the Thanet household name.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the very least, right? Because even that is like, on YouTube, there is a family in America that comment every time I upload something. And they might even comment on this once they've heard. I don't know if they watch the potty. Hello, American family. Hey. But they're literally like, oh, can't wait for this. Like, the family will be sitting down to watch these matches when they, they're like,
that's
preemptively saying they're excited. but there's no sort of like what's the link? Why do they? How did they find us, and why do they enjoy it? Like wrestling fans can enjoy wrestling, obviously. Like
Why this one little
what
weird
is it about
promotion?
this that has made you go like, yes, this is for mum, dad, and the kids. This is our thing. We do. We watch these matches.
So fun.
It's great.
We managed to get out into Margate a couple of nights before the show. We were invited to the opening of
Santa Carla, brand new burger hotspot here in Margate. We'll just leave it at Pete. He's so he comes from London. Any London wrestling fans, any London pizza fans that may watch this for whatever reason, he is the creator of what was Lost Boys, what's then became Lost Souls Pizza. Sort of the gimmick was it was like charcoal based pizza, so like the bottom is like totally black, and his whole thing is like Lost Boys, vampires, horror. So that was sort of like the motif of what's going on there. And then now coincidentally so the pizza had like a little bit of a collab at the time with Progress. So he was doing the thing where he would just like, I don't actually know if Jim John and Glenn paid for the pizzas or whether it was like some sort of donation collaboration.
Fine.
So, like somehow there was like, if I give you 20 pizzas at the Dome, then Progress will do a bunch of tweets and put me over. If that was the trade, I don't know. But equally, he was pretty liberal with the discount codes too. He was like, yeah, if you're on the show, come down. I think even for fans too, it was like, he was just such a spend money to make money sort of guy.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then now he's moved up to Margate, realized that he'd just be in competition with Tops Pizza, Faraway Pizza, Arms Pizza, that he's pivoted to do burgers now. And so he's been building that since before Halloween. I think his original planned opening day was Halloween weekend. So I think there was a chance there where we were gonna sort of we were in talks I was in talks with him to do some sort of Colossus Santa Carla thing around Halloween that might have landed when Trent was around. But because his venue is the old aquarium,
yeah, right, yeah,
or it had reptile animals.
They sold fish at reptiles.
Yeah, so
Is that an aquarium?
I don't know if that's considered an aquarium.
Aquarium, you go in and
It's just look at them, right?
It's like a pet store, but
Specifically for aquatic animals.
there you go.
So he had said that they'd had a couple of hiccups with the refurb, just because the floor was all whatever had happened with the pet store prior gave the impression that they had just left everything
Yes.
and just.
Is it true they had a crocodile in the basement?
I mean, I don't know. That's the story he tells.
Yeah, I've heard.
And he said you can see the scratch marks on the wall, but you didn't. It might be a wives' tale thing that oh my god, yeah, the ghost of the crocodile haunts the venue now.
Great lore for the horror burger place. Maybe. But they invited us down for the was it a soft launch? Good burgers.
So we got the hashtag invite. For any of my influencer friends out there, you'll know you got your hashtag ad, you got your hashtag gifted, and you got your hashtag invite, which is how a lot of that stuff works. And we got the hashtag invite. We're pretty big deals here in Margate nowadays. A pretty good burger as well,
It was the chips that did it for me.
Little something else. I think it was. I think they got Old Bay on.
Yeah, okay. So I thought it was celery salt or something, just sprinkled. It was a mixture of something, but it was really.
Yeah, it was really, really good. I feel that's always the game changer, right? If if a place does a good burger, then it's what sort of special thing do they put on the fries that sends it over the edge?
I also liked that it was either meat or veg burger. It wasn't like this array of different burgers. It was just this one or that one.
I think though he's moving into doing a full menu. It's just in this initial opening. Just keeping it simple.
I love being told what to do.
Beef, veggie, or vegan. That's it. And then you do or don't get fries, and you can get the Santa Carla Happy Meal, which is burger, fries, and a drink.
Very nice. Cool.
But yeah, we were treated to a round of burgers and a round of drinks, which was awesome. Great start to the relationship.
Thank you so much, by the way.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. Thank you, Santa Carla. That was very kind of you. It's got a little downstairs space as well, which good. I mean, it's definitely too small. It's also only got one toilet, one communal toilet. It's not gendered toilets. It's literally one singular toilet in the whole place. So I don't know if it would be a potential future venue for a no ring.
I was gonna say we could suggest no ring. It'd be cool to hang out down there at least.
Definitely, definitely opportunity.
Kind of black, wasn't it? It was dark.
Potentially a watch party of a something. Maybe one day a viewing party of I don't know. It's got potential.
Yeah.
And ultimately it was just a great day one of like whatever the future collab. It was kind of the collab that we'd hoped we would have got with Palms, but it just got palmed off. So I guess especially with like already knowing Pete, that's a step in the right direction. And the only thing really is like in terms of inviting him and the staff to come to the show as like a reciprocative thank you. Like, oh, we got free burgers, you should come to the show for free. I think the show is at the moment too far the other side that they wouldn't be able to, like, they can't come to the show and then also whip back to do
because they're working there, right?
Yeah.
Fair. Makes sense.
But who knows? May when we get back there, but it might be more possible than just a little.
Throw them in the rumble.
Exactly. But it's not that proximity wise, it's just up the road, right? So Pete can take his smoko break and just pop up and watch
Head on down.
Watch a couple matches and go back to work.
Kind of takes us to the day, right? I think that is our journey leading up to show day, right?
I believe. Well, yeah, because that was the other sort of like change in approach for this one is we didn't actually print off any posters. We didn't do any postering for this one. A mix of thought it was a waste of time, and because the show is at the other end of Margate, it seemed like inefficient to post a Margate High Street like we normally would. Well, I should say our poster team does that. Senate Council, if you're watching this.
At the same time, weather-wise, it probably wasn't worth getting them up because they'd be down pretty quick.
Sure.
The poster team can stick them up in the summer.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I'll pass it on to the to the poster team. But yeah, between no posters, no flyers, it was predominantly online advertising and a couple of handfuls of actual like little custom flyers that weren't necessarily the poster.
We did door to door.
Yeah,
we did a bit of.
But I mean, we always do that now. We've tried that every time, and there's literally no way of knowing if that is an effective mode of advertising anymore.
I mean, I think it wasn't in that we would know their address. Obviously, we'd know whether we'd been there or not. I don't think we had any of those addresses pop up.
Because I'm wondering now if it's almost worth trialing, if it's worth it at all, to do some of those like double-sided posters, but like on the back of the poster or on the back of the flyer. Sorry, it's like bring this flyer in and you can get 2 for 1. It's just because we would know where we've put the flyer. Why do I keep saying poster? Like if it's worth it, or whether like we sold this one out again without any need for that. Even we keep trying to reach out to further Margate, and further Margate keeps pushing back and going, we don't want this.
Maybe we do that then, like a bring this flyer in. At least it kind of geo-stamps where it was that we. Yeah, cool, good idea.
That was a real-time idea that you've just. That's a genuine Jimmy Neutron brain blast happening.
Also, just a little insight into our creative partnership is Tash just comes up with the ideas, and I just say, yeah, let's do that.
That's good. I like that. What do you think of my idea? I think it's good. Shall we do it? Yeah. Cool. So, no, you're right. That does take us to the day. That's it.
We kind of touched on it earlier, but like, wicked day, so much fun. Wouldn't change it, but it was hard work. I gotta take my hat off for this one because I get a bit heated. So we mentioned Ray, a man of God. So I shall not. I shall behave myself in what I call him.
Of course.
No, I'm joking. He's not God. I'm sorry. I take it back. He's the devil, though. Plan to go and see the venue probably a couple of months before.
I will say we won him over in the end. We have since won him
100%. Yeah. Why can you just win us over, in my opinion? We went and saw the venue a couple of months before the show. Ray was unwell, so he sent someone else. She showed us around the venue, and we had questions. There's a big old stage, big curtain covering the stage. Behind that curtain is just a load of equipment, like judo mats and things like that. I'm not really sure.
Loads of tat as well.
Tat, crap, yeah. And I just said we would want to use that area to put all the wrestlers, someone to get changed, extra room. Can we empty it all out into our van, so the ring van, and use it? And she said, yes, you go ahead. Cool. 1. 2 is, how many chairs are there? Oh, there's 150 chairs. Okay, cool. We just didn't see 150 chairs, but they said that they had access to 150 chairs.
Because at the time, they'd set up for some like ladies' brunch that was just 4 tables and some chairs around that. So it was like, okay, we're not going to see 150 chairs right now, but...
3 was... What was the third thing that just... got me.
We couldn't move the ginormous trampoline.
God, there's a giant it's a trampoline. It's kind of like a gymnastics setup. It's an eyesore. It's huge. It's big and red. It's got a blue tarp over it. So can we move this to the back of the room so that it's out the way? It also blocks one of the walkways to the toilets, which is also the kitchen, which will also be our changing room, I guess. So there's a lot of traffic going down there. Can we move it? Yes. So get to the day and Ray's absolutely under no circumstances can you go behind these curtains. It is out of bounds behind there. If you move it, you will break it, and it's tens of thousands of pounds worth of equipment. Don't go behind there. So there. Also, you can't move the big bit of equipment, the gymnastics thing. Just there. And also, there's about 80 chairs in the room. Where's the rest of the chairs? Cool. Brilliant. So, there were challenges setting up. We knew this going in and we'd set the expectation, but then just to have them thrown more challenges on top of us.
The room itself is smaller than St. John's, where we were sort of speculative with St. John's of can we fit. The number has crept up incrementally as we've done more shows. The Trent 7 Halloween show, we got 200 in, which initially we were under the impression that we couldn't fit much more than 100, but obviously we've doubled that.
Yeah. Because I think we got to 100 on the first show, or roughly around how it makes a little bit, and then the second show a little bit more. Okay, we can fit 120, and there's do we turn the tickets off 140, and then
it's moved to where it's at now.
We find a way to get them in, right?
Yeah, and then this one, it's because we never run there, and we didn't know anyone who would ever run there, so we had no tangible concept of what a speculative number for a cap might be, but we definitely hit it. Yeah, actually, I haven't finished that one. But we found it where it was a mix of, we ran out of chairs, so much so that there was that mum and son who, I didn't see this as either you told me or someone told me that a mum and a kid came in and the mum was pissed off and she was like, well, you're not going to find us a chair, right? And they just left.
Oh, yeah, but she was in the room for 2 minutes. There was no something else going on there, I'm sure, because you don't.
Has to be.
Yeah, she came in, looked around. So it's clear you're not going to find us a chair. See you later. And what the worst part about that is, so she said that to Mel, who's on the door. Thank you so much, Mel. We'd put out too many front row seats just because there's a lot of front row because we had 3 sides as opposed to one.
Again, there's another logistical thing we had to figure out because normally we just do theater style with chairs all on one side.
Yeah.
But then with the ginormous eyesore that is the trampoline thing, we had to figure out how to work around that. So then suddenly we were doing a semicircle, 3/4 in the round setup because we pushed the ring basically up against the wall to best maximize the space. So we ended up with 3 lots of front row where we assumed we would only have 1.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, there was 2 seats at the front. I was like, brilliant, someone gets 2 front row seats. I went up to Mel and said, hey, I got 2 front row seats, who can go in it? And she's like, oh, this woman's just left and said this. So she just waited literally one more second. It would have just been a front row job.
Wrestling sod's law.
Yeah, what a shame.
Unfortunate. Come to the next one. Lady and son.
Please. I was really impressed with so we ended up making the one side of room that had the men's bathroom on and the kitchen our changing room and walkway and entrance. I was really impressed with the entrance that I think Matt Raven helped with. Who did it? I'm sure it was Matt Raven that did jimmied up, and Chris basically jimmied up some crazy entrance way, and I thought it looked awesome.
Yeah, it was Chris, and then Matt just built his
the bit on the side
camera bit for himself.
Yeah, but that kind of needed to be there as our block, and
it also sort of came out of necessity, where it was Emily's idea, sort of out of nowhere, because we were all stressing about the thoroughfare for men's toilets, kitchen, and what is now going to have to be the change room because we're not allowed behind the stage. Where it's shit, but we'll just have to make do.
Yeah,
was the answer. And then Emily's idea was that we would cut off the whole side, and that would just be our side, and that the far side, which also had a disabled toilet, they would just become
gender
neutral toilets, which was a great save. And as far as I know, there was no negative feedback, no pushback on that.
No, nothing at all. It's so funny that is so clearly the obvious answer. And just in the moment when you've got 100 things going on, it's just such a brain block that you can't work out what the answer is. And that's why it's so wicked we're surrounded by so many people that just have a bit of
a brain.
Yeah, a crumb of
intelligence.
So yeah, thankfully we got it sorted, and like we said earlier, by by 3:59 we're open. We're set up, and 4 o'clock we're open. Yeah, absolutely.
But even getting to that point was like such a hassle. It just felt like there were problems on problems. Like there were problems being solved, but just so many like variables that kept not going in our favor that we had to just keep problem solving within the pocket of time we had left,
Whilst also doing the million other
yeah,
things, and having matches, and
not that we've never had to do that before. Like at St. John's, there's always like little like niggly problems that are going to come to the surface, but that one seemed just so like, I don't know, this is so much more difficult than anything else we've done so far in terms of prep and like presentation. And
also, I don't know if we'll just forget, we have done St. John's 8 times now.
yeah,
Like, we kind of ironed out all those bits, whereas this is the first time we've done this venue.
we did have like, I mean, not that we ever write it down, but I feel like we did have like a plan of attack, a game plan for like how we were gonna set that room up and get it ready.
Yeah.
We would have, you know, X amount of time for people to practice stuff in the ring, X amount of time to have like a pre-show chat, X amount of time to get a picture. But all of the things just compounded, and all the things we were doing seemingly weren't getting done fast enough, and all of the problems that we kept getting just kept like adding one on and adding one on.
Well, it was one of those things where you couldn't deal with the next problem until that problem was fixed. So
Yeah.
The ring had to go up for the chairs to go out, for the music to have to go where it would go, for the shop to go where it would go. Like, you had to deal with one problem at a time, as opposed to St. John's. Everyone knows their role and knows where to go to set this up.
That's what it is. St. John's has already been so compartmentalized, and everybody either knows what to do or has enough initiative now to know what needs to be done, as opposed to Saturday where like everyone's just headless chickens. Everyone's like, what can we do? What can we do? I don't know. I'm already trying to do 10 things. Can you just take it upon yourself to figure out anything that I'm not doing and go and do it?
I do that thing.
But there's no way for you to know that. But equally,
There isn't, like, because those things are in our brains. There's no response. There's no reason for it to be in other people's brains. Anyway, doors are open. Like, we got there.
yeah.
I just wanted to mention number one Lossy fan, Aaron, that travels down from, I think, Worthing or Brighton, somewhere from that area. He's come down before, right?
Yeah, a couple of times I think.
But he drove down for the day. I think it's like a 3-hour journey there. He did literally what we tell people to do, which is go to Palms Pizza and have Palms. Like, it's nice to know that we can tell people to go to a place and they'll go and do it and they'll try it on our recommendation.
Which I would say now, stop going to Palms.
Stop. Where can we send them?
Never go to Palms ever again.
Santa
Now,
Carla.
where you want to go now is you want to go to Santa Carla. But what you want to do before that is open your emails, because all of the mailing list who had bought tickets for the show would have been sent a secret password that would have got you 20% off your bill. I was going to say off your burger, but obviously it's like
The whole thing.
as a show day treat. I think it was between 12 and 4 that you could have got 20% off if you'd used the code Bite Me. I assume people will pick a different phrase. Like you can't just go into Santa Carla every Friday and say, go Bite Me, and then just
Bite me too.
Bite Me 69. So, and as far as I know from the feedback, said like a lot of people came through on the Saturday. He said there was a whole table writing this, like pre-writing their signs.
I saw the sign, people.
So
Okay,
like,
that's cool.
they'd been at Santa Carla, got their discount, made their signs, came to the show, had a great time. So like we are embedded in the culture. So please, if you run a business in Thanet, run a business in Margate, we have a mailing list, and it is so beneficial to your business that we can send people to your shop, your cafe, your bar, your restaurant, your, I don't know, glazier,
Buns. The bun place. Rise and Bun.
Rise and Bun, yeah. Oh my
Send
God.
people there.
They don't need that. They don't need
it.
that.
They're so over. We need them.
Oh. But yeah, sorry, I've derailed what you were saying about Aaron. Yeah, sorry, Aaron, you're the man.
Yeah, it's so cool. Thank you for being number one fan. That is exactly what we want from people, is to travel down, have a good time, do the things that we've recommended doing, enjoy the show, buy merch, and then fuck off.
The buy the merch part is the most essential. Well, apart from buy a ticket, buy merch is the top 2 things you can do to be a Lossy fan.
And I'm sure he watches this as well.
Probably. So I mean, that's why we're shouting him out, right? In the hopes
yeah.
that like if I wave at him, I'm gonna give you a high five in a sec, Aaron. If you're doing it's a video podcast on Spotify and YouTube, so you get ready. 3, 2, 1. I feel like you did it back, so that's nice. Good on you.
I don't know if you've spoken to anyone, but I've spoken to quite a few people that have said, "Oh, I heard you say this on the podcast," or people I wouldn't expect. Like, obviously, I expect the trainees to watch it and the people like immediately around us, but then like, I've spoken to a few people that say, "Oh, I really like watching you and TK on the podcast, and you're so natural." Blah, blah, blah. And I just think, But it's so interesting that this person that I didn't expect to be watching is watching.
Yeah, I don't think I honestly haven't had that. I don't know anyone that listens or watches this.
I get it all the time, and I'm just like, I would love to know who's watching. I would love a crumb of comment or a crumb of like, and just to. It's really cool to then talk about it with people.
Because I have all the analytics, you know, like I know how many people download or play it on Spotify. Now that I've done that, obviously it's public knowledge. The YouTube views, but it obviously doesn't tell me like the exact IP address.
Who the fuck is? I just thought it was interesting that how many people I've spoken to that said they've watched it.
That is fun though.
Yeah, and I'm now like they know who they are because they've told me they've watched it, and now I'm talking about them.
Right.
So they're watching it. So sorry.
There's like endless Ouroboros now of like they've sent it to you. Now you've brought it to the podcast, and now you're talking about the people who are talking about the podcast on the podcast. So.
It's just it's cool to have fans, and I didn't expect it. I just thought it was you and I shooting the shit and getting drunk in the morning.
This is a massive tangent now, but like this was the point of it, right?
Yeah.
This is our opportunity to reflect on the thing we have created.
It's a debrief as well,
and sort of film it for the purposes of like having it documented. So if it's ever relevant to us in the future, or it's all beneficial to other prospective trainees, wrestlers, promoters, that they can learn from our blueprint, and ideally don't copy us. Honestly, if you do what we do on your show, it's not that you're obviously not going to do it as good, because use your own creative ideas. Let us be your inspiration. Don't just copy what we do, because that's what we've done. We've stolen from Riptide. And we've made it ours. We don't just do Riptide, but also we do our own thing. They didn't come up with. They didn't have the Office rap. That was his thing.
and the Office rap got it from which got it from something like it is.
Everything is from something.
Nothing's original.
Nothing means anything.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so super tangent. Aaron is great. People watch the pod. What else? Doors. So doors open. This was my thing. Like first ever little bit of sort of immersive theater. This is how I kept describing it. So how it will function. So pre-show, me and Molly, we put up the posters around the venue. Then I went outside and we stuck it on a tree. We stuck it on a lamppost. On the poster, it says "Besties of Destruction." Bad. And that comes as a little bit of a thread where they had filmed a promo and they had said some kind of rude things about management and been like, well, we're going to come to the show and we're going to ruin it. So the natural response from Colossus would be like, well, no, you're not, because you're not allowed to come to the show. Simple as that. So it was fun to put that in place on the internet and then have that turn into a real thing for punters to observe before even coming in, so they're already stepping into the universe of where.
And even like going down the queue, people like not everyone knew who the besties were, or B knew why they were banned, but everyone got it. Everyone thought so. They're clearly two wrestlers that aren't allowed to be there. Like, just everyone was in on that joke.
And then immediately, we left it about like 5-10 minutes. So you just like, nobody would know that things are about to be different because everything is happening as it always happens. So you have people in their seats, people checking in with Mel, and then all of a sudden, all of the goodies have got the besties by the scruff of the neck or by the ear, and they're walking them out because they're kicking them out. Like, what are they doing backstage? They need to get out of here. Like, how did they get here? Sort of thing. Yeah, so boot in the ass, just kicking them out the front door. Well, I mean, we were stood together at the time, but like when it happened, it was just really funny to like see it because I guess because people are so used to, and why wouldn't they? Like the formula of wrestling is the doors open, you find your seat, you buy your bits, you go to the toilet, and you just like patiently wait while the music plays, and then eventually the show will start. So there's nothing in what was going on there that would give you the impression something else was going to be different. So to then implement this new layer where the show is actually already started that you just didn't know.
It was great how they all got behind it as well and like chanting to get them out.
So funny, like only because. Like, I know I've already said this to you, but the podcast doesn't know this story. There was this old dude at the door, like when the besties were getting kicked out by, I think it was Bo Bells, Zach Eccentric, and Buck Garcia. There was just this old geezer who was like, "Get him out of here! Get him out! You're banned!" Like, he was just like so in on what was going on. So it was awesome, and you could just see all the fans, like, loads of fans like laughing along because it is funny. Yeah. Like loads of the fans that were already in the room like, get out, because like they want to be a part of it. Like,
yeah, of course,
it's fun to be a part of that sort of stuff. So it was a great test, and again, that's another thing I've said to you, that it was a great thing to try, and it's obviously landed, but it doesn't necessarily mean we need to keep.
No, yeah.
We need to do that again in April in like a different way. It was just good to know that does work. So if we get to a point again where something like that is relevant, we should do something like that again.
Absolutely.
That we feel confident
Yeah.
that it will land.
Yeah. There's got to be a reason for it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Very good. Basic the card now, right?
But the only other bit on that is that I went outside to because someone had said that they had stuff in their car, so I was going to go help carry.
Yep.
I went outside to go look for them, and there were still people coming in from the door, or it was people who just like come up for a quick smoke or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. But while I was out the front looking for the car to help unload, someone was like, "TK, they're over there." And then I was like, "Oh, cheers." And then I was like, "Wait, what are you talking?" Because they like pointed to a bush, and I was like, "Well, the car's not in the bush."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my god, they're talking about the best thing."
Yeah, that's so
like,
funny.
There's people just like on the lookout for like, we know they're sneaking around and they're over there. We know they're there. So like, it was just fun that people were so engaged in the nonsense of like, two girls just being bad from the venue.
That's so good. That must have been a little bit after, because at that point I saw you outside because I came out looking for more chairs. I thought I might be able to get into the van. I didn't know there's more chairs in the van because we brought our own chairs. We totally got like seating everyone was difficult.
Like, you wouldn't know by the time the show started that there was any sort of seating issue. Everybody in their position seemed like that's where they wanted to be.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like a lot of people had just like made the best of a bad situation.
We will bring more chairs next time.
Yeah. Post. I would put it in the post, you know that.
I saw it. Anyway, you Ray.
Yeah, no, you're all right, Ray. You're all right.
Well,
You're all right.
you're wrong. Let's talk about the card.
Let's do it. Showtime.
Showtime. We start off with Alex Aces versus the hipster Ashmore.
Again, this isn't a review of the card. We're not some sort of wannabe Dave Meltzer's breaking down the show. That is for you to do if you care enough to do it.
I'll give it a 4 and a quarter. No, it's a really good match.
You know that old thing, Not My Graps?
Oh my god, yeah.
Podcast from like pre-COVID. That was crazy. I can't remember if they got cancelled because they were like too harsh or something. Whatever. It's not important. It's not interesting. But yeah, Alex Aces versus Ashmore. Battle of the Baldies. Battle of the Eggs. Battle of the Upside Down Heads. Pretty good.
Pretty good. They got a This Is Awesome charm, which is very much an Ashmore thing. Ashmore always gets a This Is Awesome charm.
Just to say, like, he's so strong and so versatile.
Yeah.
And he has such a cool moveset.
Yeah. Oh, doesn't he just? Yeah, like
powerbomb on the knee.
Yeah.
The springboard in, code breaker.
I guess really
Hackney.
Stephen Prince kind of does as well. Like he's got some odd ones, but he's got a good moveset. So I guess the combination of them would make this is even more awesome.
Yeah.
But, I thought, oh, this is good? Basically, Ashmore getting This Is Awesome is not out of the ordinary.
Right. It's what he does.
It's what he does. But actually, throughout the whole night, I heard This Is Awesome, I think, for every...
Yeah, not that all of the matches weren't awesome, but I do think there was, I think one of the dudes who came with the party that had come from Santa Carla, like he had a sign that was clearly because it had colors we don't provide.
Fun, yeah.
I think it had like glitter on it as well, you know, and it was a sign that said "This is awesome." So I felt like he felt his role was to hold up his sign and say "This is awesome."
He can come again.
He's definitely in my match, and we'll get to it. Well, I mean, we won't talk about this, but like, definitely in my match, he started saying "This is awesome" in a part where it was quite mundane and boring. You know, that was just his thing.
Yeah.
Which I'm totally fine with. Like, bring that energy, bring that atmosphere to the show for sure. Like, at worst, please save it for a point in a match where it actually is really exciting and it has driven you to the point where you conceivably find it awesome and not just like, well, no one's saying anything, so I should probably say this is awesome.
It's my turn.
Obviously, love and appreciate you, Mr. Man, with the This Is Awesome sign and the sort of chutzpah to just have so much fun at a show that you think everything is awesome. But equally, there's a time and place. It diminishes the awesomeness if you say everything is awesome when things.
Do you really mean it?
Yeah.
Like, let us know.
Comment below if you think this is awesome.
I think we don't need to talk about the match, but I just want to talk about Ashmore's sort of kind of goes into what we were saying earlier. Ashmore's value, and just like the right pro. Like Ashmore is very selfless in his matches. I think he's very
He's very knowledgeable. He's very good to have around. Like he's just really good to have backstage. He asks the right questions.
Yeah, I think like his career trajectory, like whatever happened, where like either he just took having a family more seriously, becoming a PT more seriously, that like wrestling ended up on the back burner, that it just stopped being his focus. But it didn't stop him being sick.
He's so awesome.
You know, like, there's no reason he shouldn't be like a major player in a Progress or a Rev Pro. But I think because his personal priorities have taken him in a separate direction, he's just not perceived as that, which like is fine, and it's clearly fine for him. Like he's happy, right? So, but that what could have been is not what he's focusing on.
No.
But I think that like other promotions necessarily don't take that into account or have no concept of how good Kyle Ashmore actually is.
Yeah.
Where like there's a little bit of like a nepotism thing with us because we've been his mate for however long, but we also know he's the man.
He is the man. Like he looks great as well, and he like can work an audience. And he's got the great moveset, and he's just a tremendous wrestler. So just a great mind to have backstage to help everyone else, and that's kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier about.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. That it harks back to like people will fall into the pitfalls of I have to only book the most famous, most popular wrestlers because those are the ones that are going to do the best job. But that's not always the case when you have gems like Ashmore.
A selfless wrestling brain, essentially, that's going to help the show and not himself. He was just absolutely wicked. There was a moment where Buck's just been beaten up, and Bo Bells and Zaki Centric go out and save Buck, and David's and Oka scurrying off, and I'm like, shit, I've got to play a song here, and I can't figure out what to play. Like, it should clearly be Bo Bells or Zaki Centric. We don't have their music, so I guess the winners are David and Oaks. Do I play their music? No, I can't play their music. Mills is already gone. And just that brain fight. It's the same with the Emily thing. Surrounding ourselves with just really great people help, because Ashmore came in and said, Buck's just been saved, play Buck's music. Of course I play Buck's music. What the fuck? Like, to press that. And
it's just that thing where there's that person that's like one step removed, that they can just come with that clarity where you're processing 100 things like
same with the toilet thing, the changing room entrance way. Like, it's clearly the right answer. You just have to be pointed towards it, because there's so much going on show day. So thank you, Ashmore, and thank you for being awesome always.
Shout out to Alex Aces as well. Like, whether or not you can listen to this doesn't matter. I actually already texted him personally, and I told him like there's a lot of people today specifically who have come back to me and have said like that your improvement is like noticeable.
Hell yeah.
Without gassing him up too much, I just felt like it was important to like, there has been some positive reinforcement. Yeah, I should pass this on.
Because that's kind of our thing about like, is this trainee improving? Do they deserve these things? And he's definitely one of them that just deserves everything that comes to it, because he wants to improve, wants to get better. And so cool. Really good point. A really nice little story is I did a gym induction the other day at the gym, and I noticed he was wearing, he undid his zip on his hoodie, and he was wearing a Dexter Loomis t-shirt.
That's so random.
In it. And I was like, oh, you're a wrestling fan.
I mean, he's not good, but like, whatever.
Sam Shaw rocked. I've never watched a I've never watched a Dexter Loomis match, but Sam Shaw rocked. I said, hey, I'm running a wrestling show this weekend, please come. And lo and behold, he came. He brought 3 friends, and
awesome.
Yeah, loved the show, I think, by all accounts. And I'm doing in-ring photos with Alex Aces, and he says, I think that's my teacher over there. And the guy that I invited to the gym, the guy I invited to the show from the gym was Alex Ace's media teacher.
Mad.
Tiny little world, which is crazy, because that's all the way over in Folkestone. So weird, right?
That's bizarre.
So that was a really sweet moment. I liked that.
That's cool.
He said he didn't recognize him though, because Alex Aces used to have like the
long hair,
and obviously no beard. But anyway, I thought that was sweet.
So match aside, this is something that we had a long chat about. I think a lot of what happened on the show was like way more heavily discussed than we would normally talk about, because I feel like a lot of literally the last 9 shows, we pretty much just present a self-contained show.
Yes.
And there isn't a lot of how we would describe it as like a lot of sauce. Like, there's not a lot of like you don't have to come to our show with a lot of
prior knowledge for stuff. So like, when someone's like, at the last show you did this to me,
and now I'm gonna get my revenge. So like what happens at our shows is never reliant on what has already happened. It always is like a continuation. Like there might be some reference to it, maybe in like the match write-up, the sort of like synopsis of like the reason these two are fighting today is because last time they did this. But like in the context of on the day, that's never really acknowledged. So this was one of 3, I think, angles that we ran on the show, and kind of trepidatiously was like, oh man, this is like we get it because we're on every show.
Yeah,
which I think is the case for like any wrestler, right? Like the person who's most tapped into the storyline is the person involved in it because they're a part of it.
Yeah,
it's like you don't know if the 150 people we have today are the same 150 people we had last time, or at least like 90% of them are the same.
Yeah, right.
It is hard to commit to. Well, hard for us to commit. I feel like there are so many other wrestling promotions that are like, well, this is the storyline, so
yeah.
But we always want to make a digestible show that isn't that we don't need a screen to be like previously on Colossus, so it brings everybody up to speed. But from watching it in real time, my impression of it was people didn't know who Chris were, or people didn't understand what was going on. If anything, there were kids that were freaking out. They were like, ref, ref. They were like,
yeah, man.
There's a man coming in the ring, protect Alex Aces. And then Chris gets in the ring, is like, chill out. And then the minute he hits the mic and he is like, Alex Aces, I have a message from David Francisco. I'm like, okay, that is like put me at ease so much.
Yeah.
Like, we've achieved it. We've achieved fan base.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a really important point, that like each show has to be self-contained. It has to be enjoyed by someone that's there for the first time. But there's just those extra little nuggets in it like that where the person that comes every time can that person go, oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's Chris Oak.
Yeah.
He's with David Francisco.
Yeah.
He's doing it here. And then last time, didn't they? Like all of those, like for the people who know, it's important to also service them. But
for the other people, it's just a bad guy that's come out and said a thing. It has to make sense, and it has to be digestible to the person that is there for the first time. But it's not to say we can't add in that sauce if it's done right. And I think this is a really good example of that, because everybody booed.
Yeah, or like no hyperbole. Like genuinely, I know you weren't there at the time, but I feel like you've watched it.
Watch it now, yeah.
Like I was there, and when Chris said, "I've got a message from David Francisco," it was literally immediately everyone was like, "No!" Which like it's funny. Like why can't he have a message? Like, fair enough if Chris was like, "I've got a message from David Francisco," or then punch him in the face.
Yeah.
But it was just, "I've got something to tell you," and they're like, "No, boo! Don't tell him anything."
Again, so
You don't want your message.
So same as that, the immersive theatre. It's not something we have to do for the sake of it, but if it makes sense and there's an opportunity to do that kind of thing,
We were so worried that it was too self-indulgent.
because we've seen it done badly so often.
But it was definitely there was like definitely a point of pride when Chris said David's name and the room was like, "Oh, guy."
Okay, we've done it. Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So we're on board. We've got enough people in the room that know the context. It wasn't necessarily that like it settled my nerves for the next 2 segments we had planned necessarily, but at the very least, the thing that we had hoped that we had established had successfully been established, because purely by the messenger of the big bad coming out and being like, "Hey, my boss wants to talk to you, and he's a bad guy, and you're a good guy. What do you got to say about that?" And the crowd would be like, "No, don't do it, good guy." Well, it's like, oh, thank God, yes.
So the next bit of sauce, was that the bit in the next match?
Oh, maybe there was 4 bits then, I guess.
There's a lot of sauce.
Sorry, yeah. Yeah, we really over-egged this pudding.
Yeah, wow.
Came off well. This comes in the parcel. That is what we've already said, where we are so not hyper controlling, but like we have such a percentage of control because we are promoters, we are also wrestlers on the show, and the other professional, like the pros that we ask to be put in the roles where they are the leaders of the situation, take great care in what they do to do the thing we've asked of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry. So that rolls into. I mean, if you want to see the segment, it'll be online in a bit.
Chill out, guys.
You know, once Jack's finished the edit, married up the comms to the wrestling show. He's got 2 camera angles to deal with, so relax. Once that goes online, in the meantime, you can watch all of the Punk Pizza and Pile Drivers Volume 3 as it drops weekly at time of day. I don't know. The silent match is already online, so you can go watch that right now. Put this on pause and go watch that and then come back. Anyway, match 2, Jordan Breaks versus Ronnie Knox.
I think the plan was just to have a banger. Ronnie Knox is a very good technical wrestler. I also happen to be a really good technical wrestler.
I've heard this.
Yeah.
I've heard this.
Yeah. So just have a good match. I guess the first takeaway is just how the crowd reacted to it. It's difficult for me not to be over because I am hometown kid. I am super cool babyface. Tell me more reasons why I'm good. I can't think of any.
You probably capped it 2.
You probably
Two was
capped it,
generous.
yeah.
You peaked at 1 and 2 was extra.
And so people are going to cheer for me, and so they should. But
Most of the crowd is your family. Would be another one.
They're perfect. One full side is just all breaks. However, I was just putting me against Ronnie Knox. She's just so over, like just such a.
Well, this is a good problem that we've had for as long as we've run. That like this is no bearing of this match, but like the Colossus fan base just love women.
Female wrestlers, yeah.
Like as much as we've tried to present girls as baddies, they don't give a shit.
Doesn't
They're
work.
just like ladies. Yeah. Obviously, there are going to be girls supporting girls, but equally apparently the room always loves every woman we book. No matter how hard we try, no matter how much we try to present them as villains, how much they present themselves as villains, the room is always like, hell no. This lady rocks.
Yeah, obviously we knew that, and like going into this match, it was never you have to cheer.
No, not at all, not at all.
So
it was another instance of we wanted to sort of gauge what the room is going to say when it is goody versus goody, because we don't really the only other time we've done it is you and me,
and they were just fully behind her. It was crazy. It was like just such a crazy nuance of wrestling where the crowd like.
Sorry,
go on.
I was going to say, well, I just wanted to correct myself there that actually it was you and Trent was the last time we did that.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously that Trent became a baddie in it and then pieced it out afterwards.
Yeah.
But that's irrelevant.
Yeah,
Go on.
right.
What you're saying.
I'm just saying it just created such a crazy atmosphere of like, and it wasn't just people booing or cheering. It was people probably a little bit conflicted and like just shouting, like just getting so into it.
Which I think is awesome, which is like the atmosphere I would like wrestling, like not just Colossus. That's the atmosphere I always want for wrestling, where people pick a side.
Yeah.
Where like, it's not necessarily because one's a goodie and one's a baddie. People are just picking their favorite. Yeah. So in your situation especially, it's like, well, I do like Jordan Breaks, but there's something about Ronnie Knox that like, yeah. And just again, like the size difference is going to play into it as well, where she's so much smaller than you that like people are just going to be like, oh, come on, you underdog, like you can get him, but like, and then equally, she's got the stuff to be like, she's got the bits in her arsenal to put you away if she needs to, you know, so that she's got the techers on her that she could catch you. So like, there are all of those sort of like boxing UFC elements that sort of like weave themselves into it in terms of like relevance a tail of the tape sort of has when you're matching up like height, weight, years in the game, technical proficiency, like all of those sort of elements that you maybe sort of like not consciously process, but you're like as you're watching, you're like, well, you know, maybe she could like maybe he'll mess up and then she'll tap him out, or maybe she has some sort of like secret move off the top that she can do that like he's not ready for. All of these like little fun variables that like you end up treating it as real, even though you know it's like there's some sort of there's just something in your brain that processes it as like here are all the reasons I'm rationalizing why he might win or why she might win, which is like so fun to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. A nice little moment for me.
Was when you told her to calm down?
Oh my god, yeah, I told her to calm down. I've told Grace to calm down before, and it has turned on me big time. So I should have seen it coming, really. But the room turned on me. That's about 3 years ago now. I did a seminar, a 3-day seminar of Pro.
3 days?
Yeah, it was like one every week, like for 3 weeks. And I just one of those I did fish out of water, and I've taught it differently because I remember Steve Gray telling me, if you do this, it's cooler. And so I took that on board and then ended up
teaching it to a group of people 3 years ago, and I'm sure Ronnie Knox was one of them. And without even calling it, we did a fish out of water where we did it that way, and she was just on it. And so I don't know, and I forgot to ask her afterwards if she did it that way because that's the way I taught it 3 years ago, or whether she's just taken that under his belt.
That's how she does it.
Yeah, but like it's quite you don't really ever see it, like as opposed to like them being on the chest there above your head. Their butt is here, and so we did it that way, just really naturally. And I'd be interested to know if she did that based on what we did 3 years ago in a seminar, or whether she's just remembered that I do it that way, or whether she actually just does it that way herself now.
Interesting.
Yeah, for me only, I guess.
So obviously the match was really good, but what was actually the sort of like crux of, not what made it interesting, that's not fair, but like the crux of sort of what we had sort of set up hiding in plain sight was that the besties would run in and they would beat you up and they would be like, we're not being banned. We're gonna do this until we get the respect that we deserve.
This is the source part 2.
Yeah.
And again, like just another reason why the source can work is it was set up so perfectly with the posters, with them being kicked out. Nobody before that day had to know what it was. We set it up and paid it off. Yeah, they came in and I can't remember what happened. You explained.
They beat you. They cut a promo and then they went to leave, and then you were like, where do you think you're going? You guys want to have a tag match? We're going to have a tag match right now. Player, holla holla. And then you guys jumped into a tag match and beat them.
Yeah.
It's upsetting that my description of them, which is kind of like a throwaway description, but you loved it. And I even told it to Emily and she was like, oh, yeah, that is them. Where I described them as Team Rocket. So Pokemon reference for anyone who's I hope, right, that like the fan base who watch this have to be old people.
In my mind, you should not have to explain what this means.
But obviously the implication of them being Team Rocket is that they're kind of like goofy baddies. They come in, they do their bit, and then immediately get beat. Like they just blast off.
It's almost the self fanfare sort of thing. The prepare for trouble is longer than actually the
actual thing that they do.
Yeah.
Like the introduction is so much longer than the content that they do.
Yeah, they almost immediately blast off again.
Yeah. But humiliatingly, we are actually so old. We are so unk right now that we're absolutely chopped that the besties didn't get that reference. Like they don't know what that means. They haven't watched Pokemon and they didn't understand that explanation. So that was very sad.
Yeah, just.
But that's it, really. That's it.
Yeah, just play the violin music.
Anyway.
Sad times.
But again, it was a segment that led to a match that was really well received by the room.
Yeah.
Like when the girls came running down the aisle, everyone was like, no, what are they doing? Get out of here. Boo. Which was cool. Which is a testament to you and Ronnie having a great match, that people were upset that it was over. But then when you beat them, they were like, yes. And then, yeah, I mean, there's not really much more to say on that. Like they did well. There. You and Ronnie did well. Like it was cool. Like it all came off as we had kind of hoped for. Again, Alex cut another great promo. Like she is just like very good on the microphone. She just has a lot of good material to bring.
They've really ironed out that aspect, that side of their I guess.
Because again, like even like the promo was a little bit saucy in terms of using references that like have no bearing on the show. They referred to themselves as the youngest guns, which obviously like they're the young guns tag team. So like that has no relevance to Colossus or anybody. Like nobody's gonna understand that. But like, but I
didn't understand it.
I got it. But I mean, I would. I'm tapped into stuff, right? So just stuff like that sort of like, it was a mix of like had no relevance to the immediate, but also the full content of the promo was like, oh wow, like okay, they're gonna do whatever it takes to be on the show. Like,
yeah.
Like ultimately, the crux of the promo was like, we want respect, and like we're gonna keep ruining it until you let us do what we want, which was fine. It was just like little bits like that. It was like that was just a waste of breath because nobody gets that.
Yeah.
That was for you and you only, and that's fine. But anyway, yeah, we're.
I noticed that a few times with trainees promos that it just isn't relevant to this situation. That will come in time.
Yeah,
and it's not something I never teach promos. I don't know if you.
Don't know if I ever taught promos, but I could definitely critique.
Yeah, I wouldn't just because it's not.
As someone who's really good at them, I could easily.
Probably should. I just that'll come in time.
Yeah,
it's not a big relevant deal or not. We had the tag after that.
Oh my god. If the opener wasn't well, it's not fair because like every match was like unreal for like a different reason. Except for mine. Mine was just really long.
Yeah, yours is really long.
It's not my fault.
No, I feel like
It's not my fault.
yes. I feel like the tag for me was the match of the night.
Everything about the tag, everybody played their role.
It's the first time I've looked at Chris and thought, I mean, he's a star. He's a proper wrestler. Like, he really comes across as just confident, good wrestler. That doesn't happen often with Chris.
Not that he's not like confident or a good wrestler when he does other stuff. But, and again, it's probably too much of a pat on our own back for like what we've done by like bringing David and Chris together.
Yeah.
But like Chris compliments David so well, and David does such a good job of not controlling, such a good job of utilizing Chris in a way that uplifts Chris and empowers Chris.
Yeah.
Whilst like doesn't take away from what David's doing at all. Like doesn't make David look any less, just makes Chris look more awesome.
Yeah. Chris is another one that's just improved so much. Remember sometime last year, Chris had a last-minute match against Mills, and that was literally just Mills go out and beat him. Whereas this time, he was his opponent. Essentially, like he like absolutely met him in the ring in a way that
Definitely met a couple of clotheslines in the mouth.
yeah. Oh my god. I also I'm very happy to say David and Mills have wrestled
Infinitely, like,
a million times.
the match that's happened across the multiverse.
Yeah, I'm so happy to add to that, but also just knew in doing so they would just fucking kill it
For sure.
because they just know each other so well. And then to be able to take our trainees on that journey as well was wicked. Buck rocked in that match.
Because I think I said to both of them separately, Buck and Chris, that their contributions to the show last time were seemingly so minimal. So Buck in the last show was in a tag match, and it seemed like it was mostly Mills doing stuff with Bo and Zach, with a little bit of a sprinkle of Buck also involved.
Yeah.
And then Chris was in the 8-man with us. So harder to get involved in a way, because there's just so many more bodies doing so many more things. But I said to both of them, like, it would have been great to like highlight you guys more. Like, I understand that from your position, you're a trainee, you're just doing what you're told. But equally, like, you won't benefit from just being stood on the apron watching the wrestling happen in front of you. Like, I need you in the ring, mixing it up, doing bits, because that's what's going to make you better. And I thought that, like, whether or not they took that advice on and they sort of proactively were like, I want to do this, and this, or whether David and Chris were just, David and Mills were just a bit more proactive and like, we need to integrate these guys into this match a little bit heavier.
I can only imagine that's how it played out.
I'm sure my dream is that Chris and Buck approached Mills and David and were like, we'd actually like to do a lot more this time. But I'm also fine if that's not the truth. I'm fine if that's not the truth. Like, ultimately, the match was awesome. All four of them, again, like, played their role perfectly. Like, everybody ticked every box.
Really digestible story as well. Finish was really good.
Again, with like nuance that I'm worried about kind of pulling it cold from the last show. Like, kind of out of nowhere, Mills and Buck are a tag team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like it feels like it makes sense that they would be a team.
Makes
and
sense.
like the dynamic between them kind of landed immediately. That we're in match 2 now, and is all like the dynamic of, realistically it's 3 baddies and 1 goodie, but the baddie and the goodie are on the same team, and there's something that links them, but that the room isn't confused by that.
No, not at all.
Like they understand that. Like, I'm probably like hyper explaining this to myself out loud, but like that the room understands that like all friendships there is nuance, all relationships there is nuance. It isn't just like we're friends because we're friends. Like there is something.
The good guy.
Yeah, like there's something in this like relationship between Buck and Mills that they understand why it's happening, despite the fact one guy is perceivably the good guy and one guy is perceivably the bad guy, and they aren't like this doesn't.
To talk about it more would just be patting ourselves on the back, because it is a really good dynamic, and it's bringing Buck up. It's bringing something out of Buck that we want to do that I know Mills can do. I don't perceive Mills as the villain. Mills is such a good wrestler that's what he is.
Yeah.
It almost
It's basically Stone Cold, where he's like he's the anti-hero.
he can't be defined by he's the goodie or he's the baddie. Like he just
exists.
the best wrestler, and we've had him in both positions, and he's cheered or he's booed. But whatever we want or whatever he wants is the thing that's happening.
Like there's no consistency. Well, there isn't no consistency, but like there's minimal consistency on whether he is a good guy or a bad guy. But the flippant nature of Connor Mills doesn't seem to detract from what reaction he gets.
He doesn't do anything different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which then led to some Mills ends up like watching Buck lose, and he's like, whatever, like, useless.
Yeah.
And then he leaves. David and Chris put the boots to him. Alex Aces from earlier with the interaction with Chris comes out to make the save, and the crowd are like, yes! And then he just stands there for a bit. And then there is like an awkward silence, because I guess like the expectation is Alex Aces will come and make the save.
He should make the save, but he froze.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then again, another saucy bit where relying on a little bit of prior knowledge is that Bo Bells and Zach Eccentric, who haven't wrestled on the show today.
But they did kick the besties out.
Yeah.
They're
But
clearly
they're clearly a part of the show, but they didn't like, why would they? But they didn't throw the besties out in a way that was like, and we're Bo Bells and Zach Eccentric, and we're part of Colossus, and we say get out of here.
We're here too.
Yeah. But because you've at least seen their bodies do something else on the show, you're aware they're involved in some capacity. So when they get in the ring, they're like, hey, baddies, stop doing bad things. We're the goodies, and we want to fight you next time. I was like, yes.
So over as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Bo Bell's energy is wicked. Like, yeah, that room just, again, I don't want to say it's just because she's a girl, but the room responded to her.
Just really brought it. I mean, that's the half of wrestling, is just attitude.
Yeah.
Like, they talk about good attitude when you're at training, but that's irrelevant. I'm talking about actual like presentation when you come out and you've got that like
Grit.
yeah, true grit. Some might say that. And then take us home with the main event. I'll leave it to you, because I don't really have anything to say. I was involved in it. It was good. Like the eventual reaction was good, but like the match itself,
The match itself was super long. Everyone played their roles very well. Match was fine. I think the thing that's probably worth concentrating on is Moser returning from injury after, what was his last match?
22 months,
Wild.
like just short of 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
So he broke his leg at judo, and he broke it so. Obviously, this happens to people in the world. I'd never seen this before. He had his leg in like a cage.
Yeah.
Like from his knee down was like in a cylindrical cage to stabilize the bone.
Pins and stuff.
Yeah, like he had stuff like drilled into his leg for the longest time. Then he was on crutches, and then obviously he's been a good mate of mine for like ever since I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
So to sort of like, he asked if he could come to shows, and I was, of course. And then it sort of just opened up the avenue of like, well, would you like to be a part of the show in any respect? Because like, we've got Gio doing comms. Do you want to do co-comms with him? So that was just a fun way to like have him be a part of stuff. Yeah. And then I can't remember when he was telling us that he was like, oh, I'm thinking of coming back.
Yeah, but almost instantly though.
Yeah, immediately. Of course. Yeah. Like, I would always. That's what. Other than the trainees, this is a nepo show to just like have our friends on to do fun stuff.
And he is the epitome of someone that just knows their shit, and just he can help our trainees infinitely.
For sure.
He fits that Ashmore role, that David Roll Mills role really well. So he's perfect. We're so glad to just get him in, and so glad it went well for him.
Yeah, like special for him, definitely special for me. Like obviously it's like you could argue it's just a random 6-person tag, but it was like, I didn't think about it at the time, but definitely in a hindsight thing, like it was special to be a part of reintegrating him back into the industry.
Yeah.
In a fun way, with like our show, our match, like, loads of things that was just like, without being too selfish of like, I did this for you, but like it was fun to be involved in all of that.
I mean, he's you know, like you said, he's been coming down just to watch the show, to commentate, or whatever he does. Like he's always there to ask questions, and like we feed a lot of ideas off of him, and he's always feeding us ideas. So I'm glad.
As far as I know, as well, has been a sounding board for some of the trainees.
Yeah,
like people have asked him for feedback, and he has been gracious in that respect to give them tips and tricks from his perspective.
Yeah.
He has another valued name.
Yeah, absolutely. The debut of Sky Smith.
Oh, magic. So good. Finally, we found our lady who is either willing or just good enough to elicit a negative reaction.
There it is, yeah. Yeah, hated.
Really good.
Which is such a accomplishment for a Colossus crowd.
To find a lady they don't like. Which is the same thing I messaged her as well. I was like, Like, I was asking her about various things, and I just was like, so just so you know, you are the first woman to ever be on a Colossus show that we've presented as a baddie and actually come away as a baddie, because everyone else.
Livy Grace, for example, was
Yeah.
like cheered, wasn't she?
When Zen won the Rumble, everyone was like, damn it, I really wanted Livy Grace to.
Yeah, fair play, well done. Yeah, good shit.
I mean, Amira as well, immediately. I guess she's just too fun. She's just too fun.
Yeah.
She's just too stupid.
She did that to herself.
Yeah. She didn't even try. She didn't even try to be a baddie.
So yeah, match was too long, but it happened.
It wasn't so long that people left.
Oh, do you know what? It probably only felt long to me because I knew we had to be finished by 1:30.
Right, so you're watching the clock
And
being
it's
like,
only
please finish,
two-
please finish.
God, we're still going with this thing.
Yeah.
What can I do whilst they've been finishing this match? I guess it was the post-show angle that kind of was the real takeaway and the thing that would lead
Which
to
again was like
things.
the major thing you and I had sort of tossed up whether we should or shouldn't do it. Initially I was against it, and then we both agreed we shouldn't do it. And then I wrote it into the thing because I was like, we might do it. Like I wanted to leave it open that we could decide whether we would or wouldn't do it.
I think it was the only thing I've never I didn't know. Are they going to do this or not? It was like everything else was like in tune with what's going on.
We didn't discuss it. Like written it on like the sheet of like we might do this, because I just wanted to leave it open to discussion, but then it never got discussed.
I just knew whatever it was going to be the right thing. It was fine. Context: it was Ben beating up Moser.
Yeah, like goodies win, goodies hold the ring, goodies leave. Ben, who's been on a bit of a tear, like, he beat John Day in October, and then he beat Koga and Alex Hayes in December. Like one of the few trainees who's actually like on a bit of a hot streak.
Yep.
To then team up with Sky and Moser, arguably two like really good pros, and then to lose the match. From his perspective, Moser screwed him, so he just beat him up.
Like it made sense and it worked and it was fine.
But I feel like our main hang up was like the show should just end with goodies being like,
Good enough, because we want everyone to go away feeling great, had a
Yeah.
good time. Actually, the show was good enough that you couldn't walk away saying, "Oh, I'm bummed that if it finished on a downer," because the show was so good.
Yeah.
Um,
And it didn't even really finish on a downer. It finished on a bit of a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Where like, Ben beat up Moser, left. Well, no, Ben beat up Moser, went to like give him the sort of like final touch, and then all the goodies ran back out and were like, "Hey, cut that out!"
Yeah.
And he ran off, and he was like, "Shut up!" And then he goes to the back, and then when the goodies offered the like hand to Moser, he was like, "Nah, not for me."
yeah, not yet.
So
Yeah.
it was that fun, like flawed villain where like he was on the baddie team, got beat up by the other baddie.
Yeah.
Then the goodies tried to help him, and he didn't want the goodies on his side either.
Just because he wasn't good enough to be with the baddies doesn't mean he's now a goodie. Yeah. I compared it to like obviously we've done one show at All Saints. We're back at All Saints again.
Yes.
It's kind of our Empire Strikes Back in that it can end on the cliffhanger. It can end on the like Luke has his hand cut off and Han gets frozen in carbonite. Like it can end on that. Like oh shit, what's going to happen? Because we are back there again.
Yeah.
And we can resolve all those things, and not that like they will directly impact what's going to happen on the next show, but like I'm fine for that to have ended at Empire Strikes Back because Return of the Jedi is next. Have all the Ewoks in or whatever.
But it was just another thing where we've never done that before, because
Yeah.
like, we've done 9 shows, and 9 out of 9 times the show has just ended on whatever the main event resolution is. And this is the first time we've tried to leave a breadcrumb for like, this is why you should come back, because what's just happened here. Don't you want to know what's going to happen next? Is that not interesting to you? Get your tickets now.
That kind of sums up the show for me and does
Pretty much.
take it to what is next.
April 11th. The Octobrawl.
The Octobrawl! Not named after the month, but
No, you'd be stupid to think it was named after the month. Especially when the graphic is so clearly an octopus. So it's clearly relative to an octopus. 8 prongs, 8 tentacles, therefore 8 wrestlers.
hell yeah. Do we want to say anything about the Octobrawl?
I mean, if you've made it this far into the podcast, you deserve to know what the Octobrawl is. What it's going to be: 8 wrestlers
8 of the best wrestlers in
that
the UK.
we have access to.
Oh yeah.
So that might shrink it down a little bit. It's going to start with 2 wrestlers. So 8 in total. It's going to start with 2 wrestlers. And then at random intervals, a new wrestler will be introduced until all 8 have entered. Within the space of each wrestler entering, what are they? All 8 can be eliminated by pinfall, submission, or disqualification. So it's a last man standing, last man in the ring. I don't know. The winner stays on, however you describe that situation, and the winner will win. The winner will be the last one not to be eliminated of the 8.
The king of the Octobrawl, or
No.
just the Octobrawl
Winner,
Octobrawler?
winner, Octobrawler. I don't know. I guess we'll never know. But at this point, that's all you need to know, right? That's the concept of the match. 2 wrestlers, random interval, a new person gets added. As they get added, people can still get eliminated until we end up with our sole survivor, our solo Octobrawler.
Let's go.
Sure.
Yeah.
And if you're not absolutely excited by that, get excited for this. The little brother of the Haziken Rana is coming April 11th. The session IPA, lower percentage, so you can drink higher volume.
You can sesh.
Is that the concept of those?
Yeah.
That's what it's called, session IPA. Have loads of it. So if you've made it this far into the podcast, just know we're bringing a new beer. We're bringing a new beer, courtesy of our friends at Northdown. Graphic wise, courtesy of our friend Girls and Guts. She's whipped up a fresh new beer label, but we are bringing a new session IPA to the Octobrawl in conjunction with the Haziken Rana. You know,
That is important to note. Yep.
it's not one instead of the other. We're introducing 2. Well, we're not introducing 2. You know, we've already got the Haziken Rana, delicious. Not for me, I don't like it. Not my. It's delicious for the people who like it.
Which is two delicious beers.
And they will be the Haziken Rana and the yet to be named beer. Are we willing to take suggestions? Are we interested? I mean, if you've gotten this far into the podcast, you are well within your rights to comment below your name for a session IPA.
It's a session IPA, and we want a bloody name for it.
Yeah. I would set some sort of criteria, but I feel like it's just a waste.
Just make it good.
Yeah, but it needs to be good. Okay. So comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Spotify, listening to this on Spotify and listening to this on YouTube, comment below. Tell us your suggestions for our Colossus session IPA. And other than that, is that us?
I think that's us. I think we've good sesh.
Yeah, good one.
Cheers.
Well, iPad's on 1%.
1% iPad, and cheers. Thanks so much, everyone. Any sign-offs?
Yeah, no, thank you so much for watching, for listening, wherever you are, whoever you are. We will see you April 11th. If we don't see you then, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, because that's where all the matches and Colossus-based wrestling goes. April 10th is Punk, Pizza, and Power Drivers Volume 4, happening downstairs at Hoff's again. So it's a crumb of a weekend. We're going 10 and 11, Friday, Saturday. It'd be a great little thing for you to come to. It'd be nice if you did. If you can't, that's absolutely fine. Just follow us on all social media. I mean, if you've watched this far, I assume you might, you've
got to.
stumbled across this and gotten this far in. But no, for Mr. Margate, Jordan Breaks, I'm the Headbutt Messiah, TK Cooper, and this has been a Colossal Effort podcast, the Pro Wrestling Colossus podcast for Margate. From Margate. Nailed it. Love you loads. See you later.
This is the Pro Wrestling Colossus Colossal Effort Podcast.